Alright, thank you, Soon. And now we are back with top 8 of this Premier Challenge. 5 rounds of Swiss has passed. We've seen some very good games. And finally, we're now in the top cut. In this game, we have Kenny versus Romeo. Kenny, a very, very strong player this season. A new player coming into VGC 2015, but definitely has some really strong showings.
And we have Romeo, who's actually here from the Philippines, coming here to Singapore to participate in our Premier Challenge today.
Oh wow, coming all the way here from Premier Challenge. And to get into the top cut must be a player of some caliber, you know.
Well, we haven't seen him because I mean he's from Philippines, we don't really see him around. However, seeing that he has got a top cut, maybe he has something to show us.
Yeah, definitely. Kenny is definitely in for a challenge here. He's shown that he can play very well against our local players, but will he be able to hold his own against some of the foreign players is a big question mark over this game.
Well, it's something interesting to see. So shall we look at it? So let's take a look at that match.
Alright, Kenny's team on the top screen, very familiar. Amoonguss, Conkeldurr, Cresselia, Heatran, Kangaskhan, and Sylveon. Whereas on the bottom screen we have Romeo with a Charizard, Landorus, Thundurus, Cresselia, Terrakion, and Aegislash.
From what it seems here to me, we have kind of like a standard Sun team against a team that can function quite well in Trick Room, having slow Pokemon like Amoonguss, Conkeldurr, Heatran. Well, generally slow Pokemon, but these Pokemon haven't been known to work well even outside of Trick Room. So Kenny has that option if he wants to.
Kenny has a very bulky team here with Pokemon that are able to tank hits very well. Actually, all of his Pokemon are very bulky here, whereas Romeo has more of a fast-paced offensive team with the Charizard-Y, the Landorus, the Terrakion, and the Aegislash. Kenny's game plan here has to set up that Trick Room if he does have it in order to take advantage of Romeo's faster Pokemon, but definitely Aegislash here is the key to Romeo in trying to lock down Kenny's Pokemon.
So now we see the game starting, and let's see what these two leads with.
Alright, Romeo gonna send out his Aegislash and Terrakion, so Aegislash in the lead slot here, trying to do some good damage to this Kangaskhan Cresselia lead that Kenny decided to go with.
Romeo has actually quite a nice matchup in terms of lead, with Terrakion threatening the Kangaskhan and Aegislash being able to deal heavy damage to the Cresselia. However, Kangaskhan can still fake out either one of them, especially if he has Rafie in his non-mega form.
And the free fake out here, you know, Aegislash, unless it's holding something ridiculous like a Choice Specs, isn't going to be able to KO this Cresselia with a Shadow Ball. So it is going to be able to set up a Trick Room for sure. The question whether Kenny should be asking himself right now is whether it's worth it to set up Trick Room at this point in time, considering that Aegislash is on the field.
Yeah, Aegislash is an extremely slow Pokemon, so setting up Trick Room might end up backfiring against Kenny.
Good leads by Romeo here though to set out the Aegislash and the Terrakion, putting Pokemon both on the fast and the slow end of the spectrum to be able to, you know, make Kenny think a little bit more about his plays here.
And in terms of leads, I mean, Kangaskhan is a common lead with Cresselia, fake out Trick Room combo, so these two do work well against it.
And Kenny pulls out the switch from turn 1. Kangaskhan gonna go out and onto the Heatran. Terrakion goes for the Protect. Fortunate there, because Terrakion could have gone for a potential close combat onto the Heatran slot, as Shadow Ball does come out from the Aegislash onto Cresselia, gonna do a bit over 50% as it does go for the Trick Room.
Well, if you notice here, Cresselia doesn't have any Citrus Berry or Citrus Berry proccing here, so it might be holding another item, maybe Mental Herb to avoid Taunt, so probably have another healing option, maybe say Moonlight.
Definitely. Moonlight is one thing. It could also be, you know, a popular variant that was used in 2013 by Aaron Zhang, the Chesto Rest variant. So, you know, too early to jump to conclusions here, but definitely good play by Kenny here to set up the Trick Room and switching the Heatran for free to start threatening both the Aegislash and the Terrakion here.
However, if Kenny wants to save his Cresselia, it is quite a dangerous position. Being able to having to take another hit from Aegislash, which is very fast right now with his low speed under Trick Room. So, and seeing that Cresselia took slightly over half, it may not survive another one.
Romeo does have to be worried about Shadow Balling this Cresselia here though, as Kenny could easily switch back out into Kangaskhan, rendering that Shadow Ball useless and pull a lot of offensive momentum back into his favor.
And Heatran does threaten Terrakion and and Aegislash Terrakion to an extent with his steel type moves, although Terrakion, if it survives, can still hit back with a fighting type move, super effective in this Heatran.
But Aegislash actually going for a King Shield here, not going for the Shadow Ball onto Cresselia, possibly predicting a switch out and not wanting to take any Heat Wave damage from Kenny. As Earth Power comes out, gonna connect with the Terrakion. Will it be enough to get the 1-hit KO though? It is, but the Focus Sash with the critical hit does hang on. So good information by Kenny here to pick up that his Terrakion is a Focus Sash. The question, oh, and we see the Life Orb coming out from the Heatran here as Psychic double target onto Terrakion. Fantastic play by Kenny here to pick up an early KO on the first turn of his Trick Room.
Predicting well the King Shield, double targeting onto the Terrakion, knocking it out very early in this game. I mean, sure, Trick Room is out and Terrakion can't really do much, but still you now out 4-3. And now you have shown information about that focus sash that Terrakion has.
And Romeo's gonna send out his Cresselia, possibly trying to buy himself some time with a potential with the bulky Cresselia, as Aegislash is gonna go straight for the attack this turn. Gonna go for Shadow Ball onto Cresselia, gonna knock it out for sure. Oh, actually from the Heatran, and Heatran goes for the overheat onto what is the Aegislash, gonna pick up the 1-hit KO in the Blade form. No way Aegislash is going to be surviving that Life Orb boosted overheat. So Kenny's showing some tricks on his Heatran set. We've seen a lot of substitute Heatran early on in this game, but we see that Life Orb overheat here is so powerful. And Cresselia goes with a Moonlight.
Well, that's his healing option then. Sorry.
Healing up all that damage, but Romeo does have that tricky Calm Mind on his own Cresselia, which does promise to be a bit tricky. But Kenny here has taken a commanding 4-2 lead. He hasn't even shown Romeo his 4th Pokemon yet, and Romeo's down to his last 2 Pokemon, and one of them is a Calm Mind Cresselia.
Well, quite interesting, quite a weird play though, going Shadow Ball straight onto the Heatran, maybe thinking that Cresselia will switch out onto a Kangaskhan to, with his immunity to Ghost. However, Cresselia going for that Moonlight actually really pays off, risking that hit from Shadow Ball, but ends up healing up anyway.
Definitely, and we see that Landorus is Romeo's last Pokemon here, going to be taking super effective Ice Beam from this Cresselia if it has it, and even if it doesn't knock it out, Heatran's there to follow up with a Heat Wave. So, you know, good position for Kenny here, as he just has to slowly wait out this Cresselia and possibly bring in his Kangaskhan, and maybe his last Pokemon is a hazard, either his Amoonguss or his Sylveon, to you know, because Cresselia is going to be pretty bulky after this Calm Mind, but it's not going to be taking repeated Hyper Voices from his Sylveon.
Interesting that Romeo didn't bring his Charizard in this game, probably thinking that it may not have such a good matchup against Heatran. Also, see Heatran going for another overhit onto Landorus, not dealing as much, having done overhit the previous turn.
But we see the Ice Beam is going to follow up from the Cresselia, going to double target down this Landorus that didn't protect, going to take it down and turn the odds into a 3v1 favor. You have to imagine that Romeo is going to go for a second Calm Mind though, as he does, going to double his special attack and special defense. Now all Kenny has to do is take out this Cresselia and he will take game 1, but will Calm Mind Cresselia be the one to take it back for Romeo here?
Kenny has a very outstanding lead in game 1 with 4 Pokemon still remaining, have not even revealed the last Pokemon, and yet we only have 1 Cresselia on Romeo's side.
But with Heatran and Cresselia both on the field right now, and especially with the Heatran at -4 special attack, Cresselia is going to be sponging hits all day long, so Kenny's going to have to figure out some way to get out his Kangaskhan without taking too much damage in order to be able to deal effectively with this Cresselia here.
Unless Romeo's Cresselia has his own healing option, I don't really see why Kenny might want to risk switching in, as it can just chip off Cresselia. If it's one of his own Pokemon failing, like say Heatran, he can just switch in Kangaskhan for free.
We see that Heatran, but Heatran actually going to switch out here. What's going to come back in? It's going to be the Kangaskhan. Risky switch here from Kenny, as Kenny double switches his Heatran and his Cresselia, gonna bring out his Conkeldurr. So 2 physical attackers against 1 Cresselia, as Cresselia goes for another Calm Mind. So Kenny crucially and fortunately here gets in both his Pokemon for free.
Kenny does get a big advantage here, having both physical attackers against one Pokemon that has been using nothing else other than Calm Mind, increasing only special defense, not his physical defense. I'm just worried about Kenny maybe showing off a bit too much information in the first game, maybe a bit impatient in just switching out his Pokemon immediately rather than chipping away and retaining his information from Romeo.
Definitely. Kangaskhan here probably going to go for the fake out to buy a free turn for his Conkeldurr here. Possibly going to go for the knockoff to get rid of Cresselia's item, which possibly a healing item. critical hit on the first fake out. Gonna do a good 20% as Cresselia does flinch, but the Ice Punch comes out from the Conkeldurr, not gonna bring Cresselia, and the freeze! The freeze! Is it the Lumberry? But no, it is a Citrus Berry, as Cresselia is gonna heal back. Kenny not going for the knockoff there, does, you know...
Yeah, this is one of the reasons why I didn't think Kenny should have switched his Pokemon. It kind of shows that this Conkeldurr has Ice Punch, and not going for a knockoff, it's a weird thing for him to do, so it might show that he maybe does not have knockoff on Conkeldurr.
Return is gonna come out onto Cresselia, gonna knock it into the red. Cresselia does thaw out, and it has the Moonlight! Gonna be able to recover half of its HP here. Back into the green as Conkeldurr is gonna Ice Punch it, but you have to imagine that, you know, because Kangaskhan is that's not a critical hit, but Kangaskhan is going to be able to get that return to finish off game 1. That freeze in the end not really affecting the game too much, as you see that Kenny is able to close out the game with a critical hit return with 1 hit and take game 1. Very, very convincing 4-0 win. Romeo definitely has to rethink his strategy if he wants to come back in this set.
But both players do get some valuable information from each other, with Romeo knowing that Conkeldurr didn't even go for a knockoff during that turn, and then Kenny now knows that Cresselia has Moonlight of its own. So both players having knowledge against each other might be useful in the next game.
Moonlight and the Citrus Berry, as well as the Calm Mind, a very unorthodox set for Romeo here. And looking at Kenny's team, he doesn't really have many ways to deal with that Calm Mind Cresselia, so he does have to play around that very carefully.
And as you can see in the previous game, that Conkeldurr didn't go for the knockoff, so you can't really take it out as easily as you think it would be. And I would imagine Cresselia's last attack is probably Side Shock or Psychic, making use of that Calm Mind. So Cresselia here isn't exactly so much of a support rather than a setup.
Definitely. Do you see Kenny changing up his strategy? I think he made a very gutsy turn 1 play by switching out his Kangaskhan there into Heatran. You know, a possible close combat into that slot could have spelled a lot of trouble for him. But in this case, what do you think Romeo can actually do to get back into this set?
Well, Romeo has to take care of also Heatran is one thing. Because of his own Terrakion, he has to be careful with that. As you see in the previous game, his Terrakion just immediately lost with a double targeting on it. So his own Terrakion would be helpful against Kangaskhan and Heatran.
We're gonna see Landorus Cresselia, Romeo switching up both of his leads this time, as Kenny gonna go for Amoonguss Cresselia, also switching it up, bringing in the Amoonguss this time. Intimidate not going to affect either the Amoonguss or the Cresselia, so good switch up by Kenny.
Well, we have now we have Cresselia on the field for Kenny's side if he wants to set up Trick Room, and Amoonguss with Cresselia not bothered at all by an Intimidate. Amoonguss being a very slow Pokemon, being able to put everything to sleep under Trick Room, especially with Spore with 100% accuracy. So Kenny has quite a good lead here.
Definitely, you know, neither of his Pokemon are going to be knocked out by Romeo's Pokemon here, as a Spore plus a Trick Room here is going to be a very easy play to make, as no Rage Powder coming out from the Amoonguss. We are probably going to see the Spore Trick Room here, as Amoonguss does reveal its Citrus Berry to recover at 25% of its health. We do see the Spore, and the fact that Cresselia moves after this Spore does indicate that he is going for the Trick Room. So fantastic play by Kenny here. He's going to get another free turn of sleep, as well as the Aegislash guaranteed turn of sleep the next turn, as it is put to sleep on the switch.
And Spore going onto Aegislash is quite a big thing, considering that Aegislash is currently probably one of the slowest, and it has a very high attack. So making it not being able to attack the next turn kind of gives Kenny a bit more freedom to do whatever he wants.
The obvious play from Kenny here is to switch out his Cresselia to Heatran and go for the Spore in the Cresselia slot. So, but the thing is, there's not much Romeo can do to get out of that position. He doesn't really have a Pokemon that can take that Spore, and even if he switches in a potential Terrakion that has Lumberry, it's just going to be thrown by the Heatran the following turn. As we do see the switch come out from the Heatran here, no switches coming from Romeo, as Aegislash taking that guaranteed 1 turn of sleep, and Amoonguss does go for that Spore.
Romeo would really want Aegislash to wake up to be able to protect for the next turn. However, even with protecting using King Shield, it's still not immune to Spore's attack, so it could may as well go back to sleep the next turn.
At this rate, I think Kenny's in a very commanding position where he has Amoonguss on the field to redirect any harmful attacks from his Heatran here, as he gets the one-turn sleep, gonna use that King Shield. Does Kenny predict this and go for the Spore? No, Sludge Bomb coming out. Sludge Bomb, Amoonguss coming out, gonna hit that as Heat Wave gonna come out. Not gonna be able to hit that Aegislash because of that clutch one-turn sleep, but does get a good amount of damage off onto the Cresselia there.
I guess Kenny does not want to end up risking wasting a turn sporing an already sleeping Pokemon. However, if he does need go for Spore, it would have turned out very well for him.
Definitely, but in this case, you know, Aegislash is just going to be put right back to sleep again by this Amoonguss. Still in Trick Room, of course. Can't be protected by its own King Shield from status moves, obviously. So Heatran here for you to get off another Life Orb boosted Heat Wave.
Romeo's in a really tough position right now. He can't really do anything against it. Sending out Landorus will just cause Landorus to be spot the next turn. Whatever remaining his Pokemon he has also will just cause it to be spot by Amoonguss. Although Charizard may be a good situation here. While it may not be able to take out the Heatran, it can take out the Amoonguss very well.
But Aegislash does reveal the wide guard that it has, as Amoonguss does go for the Spore onto the Aegislash. Does Heatran walk into this and use the Heat Wave is the question. But no, Heatran goes for the Overheat. Overheat gonna hit onto this Cresselia. Life Orb boosted Overheat. Gonna drop it all the way down to 18 hit points. As Cresselia, is it gonna wake up though? Cresselia is gonna take another turn of sleep and puts it in position to be finished off by a Sludge Bomb from Amoonguss the following turn.
That was a very good read by Kenny. Predicting probably a White Guard from Aegislash, so going for an Overheat instead and trying to take out the Cresselia, knowing that Aegislash right now can't really do anything at all. And
Aegislash, having used King Shield that previous turn, now takes another guaranteed turn of sleep the following turn. So Kenny's in a very, very good position.
Now Kenny's might have a concern of what if his Trick Room runs out. Although he is having a commanding lead right now, he is still using quite a lot of turns for Trick Room in terms of attacking.
And we see Kenny is making plans for that already by sending back in his Cresselia, both resetting his Overheat special attack drop and setting up the game for another Trick Room as Trick Room does expire. Kenny keeping track of his Trick Room turns very well here.
And with Aegislash being asleep and not being able to take out Cresselia in one hit anyway, Cresselia can just set up the Trick Room again very easily this turn, and Ice Beam and Kenny can just take the lead again.
Exactly, and you know, Amoonguss here can just easily Rage Powder away the potential U-turn from the Landorus as well, to further ensure that, you know, Trick Room will be set up.
So from here we can see Kenny has a very big lead.
But no Rage Powder coming out. U-turn gonna go onto the Cresselia, not gonna do enough to even ensure that Shadow Ball will KO at this range. But will Aegislash wake up is the question. He's already got one turn sleep. Is he lucky enough to get two?
What Romeo needs is a...
Oh, but Ice Beam comes straight out. No Trick Room. Onto that Terrakion. Gonna break his Focus Sash. As Aegislash does have to stance change first. Is it going to wake up? No, this time Aegislash does stay asleep. No luck this time as Spore comes out from Amoonguss onto the Terrakion. No, we've seen the Focus Sash, so no Lumberry, as Terrakion is going to fall asleep and take another guaranteed turn of sleep next turn. Free for Cresselia to Psychic it.
Well, you see here, Cresselia can just easily deal with Terrakion with Psychic, as you mentioned, and Aegislash, he might wake up the next turn, but he still can't do anything back. So
and with the Heatran in the back, you know, Kenny's endgame plan here has to be to leave the Aegislash alone and then force a 1v1 between the Heatran and the Aegislash.
Yes, Cresselia can make good work of Terrakion, and he can Ice Beam the Landorus very easily. So Aegislash is probably the one thing that Kenny wants to leave alone, as you said.
Definitely.
We still do not know what Kenny's last Pokemon is. It might help him a lot, but he's already in a big advantage right now, so it wouldn't matter.
But Kenny suits out his Cresselia here into Kangaskhan. Interesting, questionable play even, as Aegislash is going to fall asleep, so we won't find out whether, you know, he's punished for that, as Spore does come out again, trying to get that, covering his bases to prevent, you know, Aegislash from waking up this turn.
The risk here though is that if Kangaskhan does not go for a big call, Terrakion may wake up, but a Rage Powder can alleviate that very easily, so we have yet to see.
Is there any reason why Kenny didn't go for the Psychic the previous hit onto Terrakion, where it was pretty much a free KO?
I don't really see any reason for him to. He probably just want to end this game earlier, or conserve his Cresselia from the Aegislash. So Cresselia can come in and Psychic or Ice Beam the Terrakion or Landorus.
Makes sense. Kenny is showing why he's one of the top players in Singapore this season.
As you notice, Kenny has his 2 key Pokemon right now, his Cresselia and his Heatran both in the bag, safe from Aegislash or Terrakion's attack. So both of them can switch it later after dealing more damage with his own Kangaskhan or Amoonguss.
As Romeo here is going to switch out his Terrakion for the Landorus, going to drop Kangaskhan's attack with that Intimidate ability. As Kangaskhan is going to go Mega here, what's it going to go for? A really gutsy play here would actually be to Sucker Punch this Aegislash, catching it into Blade form, but Aegislash is going to have none of that, going to go straight for the King Shield here. Waking up on the 3rd turn of sleep. You know, Aegislash has been asleep for long enough, time to wake up and put some action in. Amoonguss goes for the Rage Powder, not wanting to take a potential close combat, as Kangaskhan does go for the return onto the Landorus, predicting the switch, getting a whole heck of a lot of damage off on this Landorus here. Fantastic play.
That was a very good play on Kenny's side. It's really either or. If Terrakion stays in, Amoonguss will help alleviate that damage, and but if Terrakion does switch out, he gets a good return hit onto Landorus.
Exactly, as now Landorus is just free to be Sucker Punch basically, as it usually is running that choice cover. Even with the Assault Vest, all it can do is attack, and when all you can do is attack, Sucker Punch is the best move you can have.
And Amoonguss is free to just spore the Aegislash anyway, so Kenny has his game right in his pocket pretty much.
I would say it's not over yet, but definitely his position is stronger than Romeo's right now. Romeo doesn't want to lose his Landorus that easily. Going to switch back out into Terrakion. Does Kenny call this switch? He actually switches out his own Kangaskhan here. Going to send out Cresselia, predicting the Terrakion to come back in and sending out Cresselia. Aegislash going to stance change. Probably going to go for a Flash Cannon. Flash Cannon does come out onto Cresselia, onto Amoonguss. As Amoonguss does get off that Spore, once again onto Aegislash. Amoonguss is just putting in so much work for Kenny this game.
Aegislash really hits Amoonguss right now, being put to sleep pretty much almost every turn in this game. And now Cresselia's in and is free to just Psychic the Terrakion, as Aegislash is not going to wake up on the next turn.
Terrakion has burned its guaranteed 1 turn of sleep though, so if Romeo is lucky, he can wake up and pull out that Protect here. Kenny is going to switch out his Amoonguss here to recover even more health with his potential Regenerator ability, and send in his Heatran here. As Terrakion just can't do it! Terrakion can't wake up and Protect! Aegislash can't Protect, can't King Shield either, as Cresselia goes for the Trick Room.
While Aegislash can't KO Cresselia in one hit at this point, it's still kind of a weird play taking 1 turn to use Trick Room.
I think in this case, Kenny is basically forcing Romeo to attack basically, because if he's gonna King Shield, then his Heatran's gonna get free attacks off basically. As Aegislash does wake up to get that King Shield off, does Terrakion wake up to get Terrakion doesn't even try for the Protect actually, as Earth Power is gonna come right out to take out this Terrakion. So we'll never find out if Terrakion was due to wake up that turn, as Cresselia does probably going for the Ice Beam onto this King Shielded Aegislash here, as Landorus is going to come back out right now. Good play by Kenny there to set up the Trick Room previously, take out the Terrakion, and now threaten this Landorus with a super effective Ice Beam and Heat Wave. And Ice Beam is enough to take out Landorus at this rate.
Ice Beam overheat will probably be enough already.
That is true, and unless crazy critical hit on his on the Cresselia happens.
So let's see what it happens.
Shadow Ball is going to come out onto the Cresselia. Is it going to be enough? Cresselia hangs on with just a little bit. Overheat, but they avoid. As Ice Beam does come out. Actually, good play by Kenny to cover his bases. In case Aegislash had landed that critical hit onto Cresselia, Overheat would have still been there to take out the Landorus and prevent it from getting off the all-important Earthquake.
However, unfortunately for Kenny, Overheat did miss, and Romeo does have a very fast Aegislash, but you can't imagine Aegislash doing much to Heatran at this point.
Actually, fortunately, Kenny's Overheat missed, as now he hasn't had his special attack drop from the Overheat, and he's now able to just freely overheat this Aegislash, which shouldn't be able to survive even in shield form. as Flash Cannon gonna come out from Aegislash, gonna try to pick out, do as much damage as it can, does pick out the Cresselia, but you have to imagine that an Overheat here is gonna be enough, as Overheat does connect, Kenny takes game 2 and moves on to his, what, 6th semi-final match in the Premier Challenge?
Kenny is really
Congratulations to Kenny.
A strong player here, so as you can see what happened.
Alright, I think we're actually gonna interview both players, so I'll leave... Okay, so I'll leave that to you, Amir. I'll see you in a bit.
Sorry for your match today, but congratulations, first of all, congratulations for getting in the top 8. Yeah. So, I mean, seeing when you first saw Kenny's team being kind of a bulky, maybe trick room team, what was your thoughts going into the battle?
I knew I was going to have problems because I was contemplating on putting Helping Hand on Cresselia to help out like the knockouts that I couldn't get, but I decided to go for Moonlight. So maybe Helping Hand, and I didn't bring Charizard with me for the raw offense.
Well, I mean, we can see in the first game your lead was actually quite a very good lead, being able to knock out Kangaskhan or at least do heavy damage to Cresselia. However, I mean, throughout the game you can see that your Cresselia did actually build a quite offensive presence. However, you didn't really do much with Cresselia, even with the Calm Mind and everything. Yeah. So, I mean, previously you mentioned you wanted to use Helping Hand. So what made you choose a more offensive setup Cresselia instead of a support Cresselia?
Because when I started playing VGC, I used to run Slowbro with Calm Mind, Scald, and Ice Beam. And whenever I didn't have a win condition, like a clear win condition, I figured that if I set up enough Calm Minds, I'll still be able to salvage the game 3:1 or 4:1.
Yeah, that might have would have worked out for you. Yeah. However, you were kind of like a 4-1.
I was too behind for that to happen, so that's okay.
But good try though. Your Moonlight at the end was quite a nice move, showing that you can Calm Mind and heal up. And once again, congratulations for the top 8. And thanks for coming all the way to Singapore to participate here.
Yes, I came from the Philippines. Yeah.